She knows you're coming. Oh, how nice. Hasan's a very good host. He is a really good guy. He really is. I like him a great deal. I love him. I think he's a good guy.
I think you just live streamed that, so that's
nice. There's almost no reason to live stream right now because we're about to just build stuff.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so there's not really much in the way of lecture, just how to build with them. So where is everybody? My star students are here at 12:30 on time. ¿Dónde está Ángel? Ángel. ¿Has visto? There he is. Come in, sit down, shut up, Ángel. Okie dokie. So let's build this thing. So pull out the kit in the bag here. And you'll all prove your skills and your intelligence. So let's open it up, and in this bag of stuff, before you dump it all out, make a lot of room on your desk. Please clear it off, especially all components. Do not have any sample parts laying around because you'll confuse the parts. So make sure your desk is really clear. Dump all the stuff carefully out on your table, and be careful because there's some tiny little capacitors that will bounce off and bounce around. Fortunately, it'll be easy to find stuff on this floor if you drop it. Great. But push all the stuff around, and when you lay it all out on the table, I'd like you to just organize it. It's pretty obvious that you're going to have 5 little things that look like transistors. You're going to have 5 or 6 little things that look like little capacitors. You're going to have a bunch of little resistors all together. Just kind of separate the stuff. And then you'll have some hardware. You'll have buttons and things like that. Don't take the case out. We don't care about the case. Just the parts. This is a super fun, easy kit to build. It's really what you end up with is a piece of real precision test equipment that works really perfectly well. It's just a real fun thing.
Oh, Chinese thing.
Yeah, it's the instructions are written in Chinglish.
Cool.
So there is a QR code, as you could probably see on a piece of paper. I strongly urge you to scan the QR code and download the little instruction manual, which is also written in Chinglish. For example, when it asks you to weld, we're probably going to solder. I think welding is not what we want to do, pretty much, but it's totally understandable, and it's very it's really straightforward how you build it. One thing that you'll find about this build is that this is a much higher quality printed circuit board. The printed circuit board itself is a much higher quality than the one you worked on yesterday. I guarantee you your solder joints will all be perfect on this board. The downside of this is that this is a 2-sided board. The kit that you built yesterday was a single-sided printed circuit board. That is, it had traces on just on the bottom of the board, not on the top. But on this one, there are traces on both sides. So here's the printed circuit board from the edge, and like here's a hole in the printed circuit board. So the traces can go up, they come this way across the board, they go down through the hole and come out the other side. Typically, like all the traces, most of the traces go one direction on the top of the board and an opposite direction on the other board. The point that I am making here is this, that the holes that through which you put the component leads are what we refer to as plated through. They are plated through holes. On the inside of the hole is copper plating. And when you put a part in there, you solder the part in, and the solder wicks up into that and fills the entire hole like that. And the point that I'm making here is this, that it can be extremely difficult to get the solder out of the hole if you make a mistake. If you make a mistake and put the wrong part in the wrong hole, it's easy to pull the part out, but then you have to somehow evacuate the solder from the hole. The solder wick can work sometimes. The solder sucker device can work sometimes. But mostly I have to resort to the whack on the table method, which means that I heat the board up where the solder is plugging the hole, and before it hardens, I whack it on the table, and inertia pulls the solder out, and it works pretty well. But do your best to not put the wrong part in the wrong place. For example, there are 5 little devices in TO92 packages. Those are the little black transistors, like the 2 that I gave you and the 2 you used for the previous kit. That package is called TO92. There are 5 devices in that package. Only 3 of them are actually transistors. One is a voltage regulator and one's an operational amplifier integrated circuit. Look very carefully at the part numbers. And the part numbers are really similar. Like, I can't recall exactly what they are, but like one of them is like a 2SA8550, and the other one is like a 2SA8050 or something like that. So just be extremely careful. If you have any question about which of the little black things go where, call me over and we'll figure it out together. Also, the little capacitors, those little itty bitty tiny little capacitors, like the 22 picofarad capacitor that you put in your kit yesterday, these itty bitty tiny capacitors, they have numbers on them like 102, 103, 104. Be observant where they go on the board. There are 1 nanofarads and 10 nanofarads and 100 nanofarads. The instructions tell you which one to goes where. But if you have any question at all, call me over before you insert the things and solder it all in, because it's a pain in the butt to take parts out and clean the holes out. The instructions are really, really complete, though. They really are really super complete, and if you follow the instructions, for you guys, it shouldn't be a problem. It really shouldn't. I have great confidence. So mostly I just say, ready, steady, go. I would definitely not put all the parts in and then try to solder them all in. I put in 1 or 2 parts at a time. I usually just put in 1. I put in 1 part, I make sure it's the right part, I solder it in, I cut the legs off. Then I go to the next part. Typically when you're assembling something, you start with the parts closest to the board first. Like resistors are the shortest part. So you put those in first, followed by the other ones. But follow the instructions, and if you have questions, just call me over. Annika could probably build this in probably 40 minutes, maybe less.
Go.
Ready, set, go.
Water.
I don't know what Walter is. Why do you expect me to have water? Do I look like Water Boy to you? What, you think I am Ganga Din or something? Bring you water. Sheesh. You know, I didn't like the Venom movie. It just didn't make.
Too much
It
action.
was too weird. It was just too weird. I love vengeance movies. I love the fact they would eat people's heads off. But I don't know that coexistence. I didn't buy it. I didn't buy the premise.
Hey.
But it's with Tom Hardy, so it's just.
TNT. It's a family.
That's like one of the only I don't recall which superhero studio it was. One of the only movies I've watched from that studio because one of my friends made me watch it, and I was like, "This is all right. This is all right."
You like Venom, really?
I thought it was really stupid as shit, but I'm like, you know what?
Well, that is the point of those kinds of movies. They're comic books, you know. It's okay if they're a little stupid, but I don't know. To me, it just didn't go.
I don't know. I don't really understand why there's some guy and some creature and it's like weird. To be honest, I feel like it's some sort of allegory to like your.
You know, it must be, and that's what I'm missing. I think you're correct.
It's the future.
Yeah, or it's the two sides of people's personality, and everyone has good and bad. It's the yin and yang. I don't know, but I don't want that kind of deep philosophy in my superhero movies. I just want a good fight and some humor. I mean, like when you watch a movie like Thor, some of it is hilarious. And some of it's just really funny. All those superhero movies, they always put something funny in there.
Well, I feel like that one specifically, I feel like you can choose to watch it as the allegory. You can also choose to watch it as the dumbest thing on earth. And I think that's great.